Alright, everyone, the time has come. It is here. After long months of waiting, we are finally here in the NFC Championship game, and it is a freaking doozy. If you can see the runtime of the video, it can't just be done in a matter of 10 or 15 minutes. There's a lot, okay? So we're getting into the NFC Championship. If you paid attention to the AFC Championship, which, spoiler alert, will get spoiled by the bottom score ticker during the game, but it is the Steelers and the Colts in the AFC Championship. So in the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. And so the Buccaneers have traveled all the way out to the desert to play us in Tempe and Sun Devil Stadium. It is absolutely packed, probably the most packed it's ever been for a Cardinals game. There's nothing else to say. I wish there was any other kind of special presentation done for an NFC Championship, because we don't even have a midfield logo. You'd think if the Cardinals got to an NFC Championship, then they would at least be able to put something on the field. But no, this is all we get. So our entire season has led us up to here, an amazing season that we have had, a great season, probably the best season in franchise. I mean, at this point, it's definitely the best season in Cardinals franchise history, in Arizona anyway. I don't know if I can speak to all Cardinal history, because it is very long. Their history is very long, but in the 16-game era, it might even be their best season, just period. I don't know what they were doing in St. Louis, but probably nothing like this. So the rebuild as we know it is ahead of schedule firmly because of people like Justin Williams, who are looking at right now one of our rookies. Our rookie class is really not that great. They're all going to boom a lot from this season. But that's really where we've got a lot of our production, as well as a lot of the bigger positions that we shored up, like locking down Plummer and locking down David Boston. So I'm not going to get retrospective on the season quite yet, because it's still ongoing, and we hope to keep it ongoing into the Super Bowl. And it all starts today here in the NFC Championship game against these Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who also have some new faces from year one that are no longer here, as Pittman takes it up the middle and spins around some pressure and gets brought down after a yard. So Boston, who is Tampa Bay's rookie quarterback, is getting the start today. I don't know what happened to their quarterback last year. I'm pretty sure Tampa Bay was also good last year, so I'm not sure if they were in a prime position to get a quarterback. But nonetheless, they do have a new rookie quarterback who is starting this game for them. So we've come up big on Tampa Bay's first drive, and now we have an opportunity with the football. And we're going to start off with Thomas Jones, who gets wrapped up. Tampa Bay was all over that play call. They knew exactly what we were doing, as the right side of our line cannot hold up against Tampa Bay's run pressure. So 2nd and 12, we're going to come out in shotgun formation, and you know what we like to do? We like to get it to David Boston in that formation, who gets absolutely stood up. David Boston's not necessarily a small guy, but he gets blown up there. So on 3rd and short, we're going to give it to Makovica to pick up what we need to get out the first down, which he is so freaking great at doing. That's why he got selected to another Pro Bowl, and he does just that for us. So on 1st and 10, we're going to roll out and try to find Freddie Jones, who has an opportunity to get the ball, but he bobbles it, and a Tampa Bay defender has a chance to bobble it, and he can't come down with it either. So it's incomplete. We're going to give it to Thomas Jones on the outside again, and we have 2 defenders and only 1 blocker, so it does not work well for us. We're struggling to establish the run early on here, something that really helped us out in the divisional game, but we're having a hard time in the championship game to establish it. So we're going to go with old reliable to David Boston, and he has it in and out of his hands. He was in double coverage, but still had more than an opportunity to come down with it, and he couldn't. So after 1 frame, we are scoreless, man. I couldn't tell you the last time we were held scoreless in a first quarter, where both teams were held scoreless in a first quarter. So this one is going to be a tight one, you can already tell. So we're going to go with old reliable again, out of our little intermission, and this time David Boston can come down with it, and we have basically flipped the field, and now we are cooking inside Tampa Bay territory. We really needed a big splurge of offense here, and it looks like we just might get it. So 1st and 10 now, we're going to give it to Thomas Jones, who runs to the right side, and he's got 1 man to beat. He cannot beat him, but thanks to a generous tackle animation, we get a little bit closer here. So on 2nd and short, we're going to give it to Makovica to pick up the first down again, and he does just that. So this 2-headed monster in our backfield is really working out well for us. Again, 2 guys who don't have the highest overalls, but we're getting a lot of production out of them. And we go with Thomas Jones again on the ground, and I thought I could shoot that gap to the outside maybe, but it closed up a lot quicker than I thought it would. So 2nd and 6 now at the 2-minute warning. Plummer's going to drop back, and the pressure gets to him. He does get rid of the football, but It kind of awkwardly hits the defender, rockets backwards. So 3rd and 6, we're going to try and take a shot to the end zone, and Freddie Jones has it in his hands and can't haul it in. A rare drop by Freddie Jones, but we're going to bring out Grammatica to try and knock home a field goal, something we rarely do because I cannot kick field goals in this game, but I was able to lock in and kick a clutch one here to take a 3-point lead with just under 2 minutes left to go in the first half. So is Tampa Bay going to try and get a little risky here on offense to try and jumpstart their offense, because they've struggled just as much as we have, and Vanden Bosch going through all the channels just to get to Boston and put him on the ground, and he does. So we haven't seen Vanden Bosch get to the quarterback too much early on in this series, but he does there, and it comes in at a nice time. So 2nd and 10 now for Tampa Bay. Boston's going to flip this out to Battaglia, who hauls it in and is brought down by, I believe, Hill. So on 3rd and short, Tampa Bay needs just 5 yards, and they get it from Johnson, who spins out of a tackle, and he's got some open space here. He doesn't have the speed. Lathon Flowers can't quite bring him down, but he is finally brought down by a linebacker there. So he just spins out of this tackle there, and I believe it's Greer who just didn't know what to do after that. He's like, oh, what happened? He's free? Okay. So Tampa Bay cannot get out of bounds, so the clock is continuing to run here, but it is 1st and 10 at just past midfield. So they're wasting a lot of time trying to run this hurry up here, but Boston is ready for it. So Vanden Bosch is on the run again, but he can't get to him, and Boston gets it out to Keyshawn Johnson, the first time we've seen him today, and he hauls it in because Dwayne Starks is nowhere to be found. So it is a 1st down for Tampa, and they will call a timeout here with just under a minute left to go. Boston's going to go on the ground with Pittman, who cannot find any open space. We have shut down that aspect of their game, just like they have with us, so that works out well for us. So 2nd and 9, Boston's going to drop back here. He's got a clean pocket, and he floats it out to Johnson again. I believe they're fullback, and he puts it on the ground. It gets bobbled around by a bunch of different players, but Tampa Bay manages to recover their own fumble. So it's going to be 3rd and 5 now with the clock continuing to run for Tampa Bay. They're going to try and run the hurry up here. They're taking a bit of time getting set up, but they still have a good bit of time here. They're close enough to the end zone to do something. And Boston's going to flip it out to Battaglia, who bounces off of a tackle, and we had him well behind the sticks, but he is able to cut upfield and just barely get enough for a 1st down. So Tampa Bay now, with just 20 seconds left, is in prime position to add some points, at least 3, as Boston drops back and hits Battaglia again, and in another mess of Cardinal red jerseys. But this time he is brought down, and Tampa Bay is going to try and run the hurry up here, but they realize they don't have any time. So they're going to bring out their Grammatica, who is going to knock this one through as time is expiring, and now we have ourselves a 3-3 lead heading into halftime. Absolutely bonkers to only have 6 points total between both teams in this game, and it is a heavyweight bout to be sure. So our first drive coming out of the locker room at halftime, we give it to Thomas Jones, who picks up a nice run. We have not seen that all game really, so that's a nice one here. So we're going to give it to Makovica on the fullback to pick up the 1st down again. You know, it's our 1-2 attack. Our 1-2 punch is give it to Makovica to pick up the rest, and he does. So we're going to give it to Thomas Jones to try that again, and he picks up a large chunk of yardage again. So just a couple more to get the 1st down, but we're going to go with Thomas Jones now to try and pick it up, and he cannot, and he gets stripped, but we have a bunch of Cardinals on the ground to pick it up, and it's Makovica, the fullback, who comes down with it. So that's now 2 fumbles both teams have committed, and they've recovered both of them. So on the next play here, Plummer's going to drop back, and our number 1 read wasn't there, and fortunately Makovica was wide open out of the flat, so we were able to get it to him, and he picks up a nice chunk of yardage for us. So 1st and 10 now. We are cooking in Tampa Bay territory. We go to Old Reliable, and David Boston drops it again. That is 2 drops for David Boston, very uncharacteristic for him. And there you see the NFL ticker. It spoils the score of the AFC Championship game. Whoever wins this game will be playing the Colts in the Super Bowl. So keep that in mind as we flip this one out to Freddie Jones, and he hauls it in. And now we have a prime opportunity inside the 15-yard line of Tampa Bay. So a very nice play here. We go to this play a lot during this game here. It's kind of the forgotten play. You know, once you cement Boston and Thomas Jones and stuff, and even Kyle Hedgel, they forget about Freddie Jones. We also have a tight end who can get very busy for us, and we can incorporate into the offense. So it comes up big for us there. So we go with Thomas Jones on the ground again, and he picks up another solid run on the outside and gets brought down just by the sticks. So, short yardage situation, you know what we love to do. We go to the fullback, and Makovica bounces into the end zone for the first touchdown of this game. If you put your money on Makovica to score the first touchdown, then you are a very happy person, because I don't think many people would have bet that. So, but Tampa Bay's got a prime opportunity, and Boston finds Dwayne Starks again. Haven't called his name much, but the two biggest plays he's had this season have been in the postseason. He had a beautiful interception, diving interception at the end of the first half in the divisional game, and this one is even more clutch as he gives us a prime opportunity inside Tampa Bay territory to potentially open this lead up. So we go with Thomas Jones on the ground again. He doesn't really have any lead blockers, but he still picks up a nice handful of yardage, moving positively as we are cementing that run game just little by little, more and more. So Plummer's going to roll out here and try and find Freddie Jones again. The pass isn't really on the mark. Freddie Jones gets a hand on it, but it would have been an amazing catch for him to make. Probably wouldn't have even been in bounds. So on our next play here, we're going to go with David Boston across the middle. Another old reliable play of ours is just hit Boston across the middle. They never guard it. They always leave the middle of the field wide open, so we are going to exploit that. So we go Thomas Jones on the ground again to get closer and closer to the goal line, but he doesn't have the coverage he needs on the right side of the field, so it doesn't go really much anywhere. So Plummer's going to roll out here, and we had Hedgel maybe we could have hit, but I see Coffey standing all alone, but Lynch, bro, he is all over the field as he comes out of nowhere and breaks up that pass. I saw Coffey, and I was like, dude, he's got to be open. And he was, but good play by the Tampa Bay defense. So on 3rd and 10, we give it to Boston again across the middle, and he gets spun around at basically the goal line. Maybe another inch or so. If he just lunged forward off the tackle, he would have had the touchdown. So we're going to give it to Makovica to try and get in the end zone, and he gets absolutely stood up. I think Derek Brooks for Tampa Bay is injured long term, so they do not have him in their linebacking core for this game. So that's a huge loss to their defense. So as we go to Thomas Jones on 2nd and goal, and he just barely gets held out of the end zone here, just inches to go. You could probably see maybe a couple inches, nanometers of grass in between the ball and the goal line. But the third quarter will come to a close with us knocking on Tampa Bay's door. If we can punch it in, we give it to Thomas Jones again, who gets gobbled up at the middle of the field but bounces out to the left side, and he gets himself a touchdown in this game. So far, we are relying heavily on our rushing attack here to keep the points rolling. But Tampa Bay's got plenty of time to answer back here. They're only down by 14, and they come up with a nice reception on that play. So it's 2nd and short now as Boston drops back. The pressure is there, but it's not in his face, and he's able to get rid of it. And he had a nice open man, but he could not haul that one in. So on 3rd and short, our defense needs to come up big again and force the ball back into our hands. Can we do it? So Boston now just stands firm in the pocket. Vandermarsh again coming for his head, but he gets rid of it to Battaglia, who's probably been his #1 receiver this game, honestly. I mean, he's just finding that tight end anywhere that he can. So Boston again with some pressure in his face, tries to get it to Battaglia again, who could have had it, but he was surrounded by Cardinals, so wouldn't have went for much. So on the next play, it looks like Boston maybe was going to go for Battaglia again, but we had a linebacker firmly in position. So on 3rd and 10, Tampa Bay, it looks like they might stall out here on offense. They need something big to happen, and wide open down the middle of the field is Johnson, the fullback, who hauls it in. Man, that is a huge breakdown on 3rd down. It was a play action play, and Johnson just went straight up the middle. There was nobody there to cover him, and so that was a nice pickup for Tampa Bay. So they are cooking in our territory now, and a very nice play by Dwayne Starks. His disruptive game continues as he breaks up that pass between Boston and Keyshawn Johnson. So again, Boston's going to try and go through the air, and he hits Battaglia again for like the 7th time this game, but it is only a short yardage play. So on 3rd and 5, they need another handful of yards, and they float it out to Stevens. That's the first time they've called his name, and he hauls it in for your first down. A very timely reception for your first reception of the game. So good on Tampa Bay for moving the ball. Boston's got plenty of time, and if you give him that much time, he's eventually going to find an open receiver, and that's exactly what happens. So this Walker fellow, I think, also might be a rookie, or I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe he's a legend that I just don't know. If Tampa Bay fans, you let me know if that's a rookie or not. They don't flash his name during the game, so I wasn't entirely sure, but they definitely indicated that Boston was a rookie. So Tampa Bay's going to go on the ground with Pittman to try and get into the end zone. He hasn't done a whole lot this game, and is going to continue to not do a whole lot as he is kept out. So on 2nd and goal, Boston's going to try and solve it himself through the air, and he does just that as Dwayne Starks is just standing there on an island with Keyshawn Johnson, but not locking him down by any sense. And so Keyshawn Johnson gets his first touchdown of the game, and now Tampa Bay is cooking. But there's 2 minutes left. If we can just pick up a first down, which we can't. So if we would have got that first down, we would have been able to probably ice this game, or at least kill most of the time left, and we couldn't. So Tampa Bay is going to get another opportunity with the football with a whole minute and 45 seconds or more to get down the field and maybe even at least get a field goal. They don't necessarily need a touchdown here, but it would definitely change things for them as they find Walker, who shakes off that first tackle and is running for his life, but LaFon Flowers does pull him down, and looks like Kwame Lassiter, our safety, is also injured on that play. So a tough break for our defense. One of our best defensive players is now down, so hopefully he comes back, as Boston tries to throw that one through two hands of Cardinal defenders who somehow do not come down with it. That would have been massive for us to get that pick, but it does not happen. And on the very next play, Boston finds Walker for a touchdown. So we have 2 rushing touchdowns. Tampa Bay's got 2 passing touchdowns, and this is just, it's tough. So now we have a completely tie game, but there's more than enough time for us to do something. As Plummer, under pressure, lobs this one out to Boston, and Plummer is hurt on that play with all the Madden Challenge stuff. It didn't really show him, but he is injured. So now we have Herman Grandmont to try and get us maybe a good 20 to 30 yards closer to the end zone so we could maybe kick a game-winning field goal. And he's off to a good start as he finds Boston across the middle. Kwame Lassiter will be okay. He will come back. The pressure's picked up nicely in front of us, and Grandmont is able to get this one to Boston again for another first down. We're just playing safe here. We're really trying to dink and dunk. Grandmont's going to be a check down merchant just to keep the ball in front of us and keep the ball protected as we give it to Thomas Jones on the ground, who picks up a nice handful of yards. So now it is basically a clock game. We can essentially burn all the time since Tampa Bay doesn't really have the timeouts. We've wasted timeout because of injuries. We've already lost both of our timeouts. So I called that timeout with 28 seconds, thinking that I might have another one or just time to do something. But the thing about timeouts, they shorten the play clock, so I took too long to decide what to do, and there was no way we were going to get this field goal, so I thought, okay, we'll send the offense back out and see if we can just maybe shoot for the end zone or for a first down and just be able to really kill off the game. But we can't complete the pass to David Boston, so I have to send out Grammatica for a game winner, and we actually get a nice kick, but for some reason, Grammatica's kicking power is about 20, so we are unable to convert that field goal, and now Tampa Bay has 19 total seconds to answer back, and you've seen what happens with just a small amount of time in these games, and already the wackiness is ensuing as Boston floats this one out to the left side. It steps up into pressure and gets creamed, and that is Pittman, who fumbles the ball on the tackle, but he's clearly on the ground. The booth would challenge it, and it gets reversed. Doesn't matter. It's still a short yardage. It's a nothing play. So 2nd and 8 now for Tampa. They have 13 seconds, and honestly, they probably should just be playing for overtime since there's really not much time for them to get in field goal range. They don't have any timeouts either, but for some reason they're trying to play hero ball and put this one away. But it's already 3rd and 8 with 10 seconds left to go. And they're coming out in I formation. I'm not sure what they plan on doing, but Boston floats this one out to, I believe it's Battaglia, who just completely dropped it and whiffed it. So they would punt it, but the clock would expire on our return. So that is the end of the fourth quarter, and yes, it is time for overtime. We have overtime in the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. We've played a ton of close games. We've had a couple overtime games this season, and it just continues into the postseason. So the NFC Championship is going into an extra frame. It's going to need the extra 6 minutes here to decide, and it's a nice return for Tampa Bay as we had kind of an awkward kick. I'm really bad with the kickoffs, but Greer comes down with the tackle. So it's 1st and 10 for Tampa here in overtime. Van den Bosch gets free again and applies some pressure to Boston, who steps up and makes the throw to Johnson, and I don't know how he was not past the line of scrimmage. That was basically a sideways throw he just made. It was disgusting, but we have a player jump early here. I believe that's Wakefield, our left end, who jumps early. And so Tampa completes the completion there, but it's basically the same as the effect from the penalty. They just get the first down back. So they're going to take that penalty and wipe off that last play. So it's 1st and 5, and this time Wakefield makes up for his mistake by getting to the quarterback, and fortunately he gets rid of the ball in time, but that was a huge hit that Boston just took. On the very next play, he's going to go out to, I don't know, I'm not sure who that was, but he couldn't haul it in. So it's 3rd and 5 now, and Boston's standing in the pocket, and he throws throws that one into a mess of Cardinals, and now that is Hill, who was injured earlier in the game, coming up big to force the punt. So this is our first drive now. We just have to get in field goal range now if we want to win the game. We try to go with all reliable just to cheat it out. And Lynch, dude, that white boy's got speed, man. He's keeping up with David Boston, the best receiver in the league, honestly, and just breaks up that play. So we're going to have to safely dink and dunk down the field. And I said safely. Why is he fumbling? Oh, Mo. Oh, no. Hold on. The booth didn't like the look of that. And they have good reason to not like the look of that. As David Boston's ass is on the grass. You see it. You see his gluteus maximus touching that turf. It is on the ground. Our drive might be saved yet, folks. Just hang on as we go to the zebra to get the final reading, as he announces whether our fate is sealed or not. And we get a new lease on life from the Madden gods. They are looking favorably on this Cardinals team. This is our Cinderella run, and we're going to continue it. So on the very next play, we're going to go to Freddie Jones, and in double coverage, he cannot come down with it. It does hit his hands, but that was a tough pass for him to make. So on 2nd and 10, Plummer is back in the game. Also, in case you did not notice, Plummer drops back, and we try to get it to Kyle Hedgel, and there is a mess of Buccaneers. I don't know how that one was not turned over, but thank the Madden gods that it wasn't, because look at that, dude. That was a disgusting play. So 3rd and 10, we are still looking at the end of our drive here and potentially giving this ball back to Tampa if we can afford it. And we get it to David Boston, who's brought down short. He's brought down about a yard short, and we have to go for gold here. This is our season. It is on the line. We give it to Plummer to try and sneak it in, and I don't know how they quantified that we got the first down, but I don't care. We did. We got the first down. There was a whole mess of people in front of us, but Plummer got it. Huge quarterback sneak time, and so we're going to try and go reliable on the left side of the field since they seem to be covering the right side. But even Kyle Hedgel can't come down with it, so we are struggling with our streak plays here. We have not been able to get it to work all game, so we're going to need to get a little bit more creative here as Plummer senses the pressure, and he has to make an awkward throw on the run, and that one just goes right into the dirt. It's going nowhere. So 3rd and 10 now. Plummer's going to drop back. He's got all the time, and he finds Boston across the middle. We'd love to see it. Boston finally shakes off that first tackle, as he never does, but he does pick up a few more, but more importantly, the first down. So we're getting ever so closer to that field goal mark where we can possibly knock it through. Remember, I had like a 35-40 yarder for Grammatica that he couldn't even get close to, so we're going to need to make this one a chip shot if we're going to put the season on Grammatica's leg. If we can get into the end zone, even better, but we do pick up another first down on the ground. The running game is coming up big when we need it to, so 1st and 10 for us. We're getting closer and closer, and Freddie Jones is open. I went for it, and he hauls it in. Thank God. Freddie Jones is making up for his previous mistake of dropping that touchdown, and he's getting us inside the 5, and now basically the world's our oyster. We've got any opportunity we want here. We can go for the chip shot right now. We can try and get it in the end zone, but I don't want to get cute here and potentially turn the ball over. We can fumble anytime, and I could also throw a boneheaded pick. So we're just going to bring up Grammatica to try and knock home the chip shot. I'm focused, laser focused, and the kick is up. It's not the best kick, but it is through, and that chip shot, it is going to go through. And that, ladies and germs, will seal it. The Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals, are your NFC champions for the 04-05 season. Do you believe in magic? Excuse me, I think it's the 03-04 season. 03-04 season. The Arizona Cardinals are your NFC champs. And look at this. I've never seen this before. Look at here. We get a little graphic. Nice little presentation. It's not that great. There's no confetti or anything. Again, there's no indications on the boards or on the field that this is the NFC Championship. And there's Boston shaking hands with Thomas Jones, who was just shaking his head on the bench. So, whatever. It's Madden 03. I don't know what we expect here. But we are your NFC champions. David Boston gets player of the game honors because why the heck would he not? Another A1 game for the best receiver in the NFL, and I'm standing firm on that claim. Just let the Pro Bowl selection speak for itself. This is one of the few games where the close score is actually reflected by the stats too. Normally when we play a close game, we just get outplayed by our opponent. We just manage to capitalize off like mistakes or something, and there weren't really that many mistakes. This is probably one of the most fair and balanced games of Madden I've ever played, and believe me, I was losing my mind when I recorded it, but I'm fine with the results. It was a very enjoyable and thorough game. and very balanced, just frustrating. Jake Plummer has a absolutely horrendous game in the office here. We ended up throwing the ball, like, I think 15 straight times on our last drive, just because I was so just hell-bent on getting the ball within scoring range so we could win this game. I was not going to give Tampa Bay another opportunity to do anything. I was so scared on losing this game because of my mistakes. There have been so many opportunities like that where I've jeopardized our own success. So I'm like, no, I'm just going to stick with the plays that work, the cheese plays, and that's just going to be it. I'm not going to leave any room for my stupidity to screw us over. And I almost did at the end of regulation with Grammatica's missed field goal. I mean, that blew my mind. I was like, it wasn't the best kick, but still, I got more than enough power on it. It's just dumb. But either way, here is your Super Bowl matchup, the Arizona Cardinals versus the Indianapolis Colts. We had an opportunity to get a rematch of I forget what Super Bowl it is, like 41 or something like that. I can't remember. Don't know. It's not 41. I don't know what I'm talking about. The Steelers and Cardinals Super Bowl. But we are in the Super Bowl, so I need you guys there for it when we play the Colts.